welcome to the Regenerative Abundance Mastermind. I'm very happy that we have a team of us here today. And I would love the sort of structure of the mastermind is that we get to touch base with what we've been up to, and then move forward, sort of focused on the various areas and what things we're committed to. Before we do that, I realized one thing that distinguishes Earthwaking and what we're up to from other organizations is that we have this inherent acknowledgement of our interconnectedness with each other and with all of life, with our oneness, with our source. And so I would like to just take a very brief moment to dial in, and all of us, go within a little bit and tap into the source that is our source and allow it to come through for us in this mastermind, so that this time spent together is for the highest and best for ourselves, but also for what we're creating beyond this. So let's just take a moment. Thank you for that. And again, thank you for being here. So I would love to hear how it is going for each of you who are here. And Reed and Graceland said they would be late, or they may, depending on how their transaction goes, they're getting a car. So depending on how that goes, they may be here at some point, but theoretically, it was only going to be what they had to do was going to be about 15 or 20 minutes. So hopefully they will be here. But if not, then, we are here and we get to figure out what to assign to them. So would either of you like to share what, has been going on this week and sort of where you are with relation to the mastermind and what we're up to here, your commitments?
I'll share.
Christy, go ahead.
Yeah. So we met last Sunday, me and Jackie and Cheryl, and so that was cool. That was fun. Talking a little bit more about my experience from the Money Metamorphosis Mastermind and how I potentially see it. And so that was nice to connect with the two of them and just get the ball rolling with them. We talked about, like what you had said, brainstorming different ways that we can see what we would want to see contributed to the Tree of Life, and then also what potentially we could contribute, and just looking at all the different possibilities with that. So that was fun. And then I'm now, the admin person, obviously, and to be able to publish the listings. And then also I'm excited to get started to connect with people. I'm in the process of lots of transition in my life. So next week I'll have landed somewhere for a short period of time and we'll be able to start that process. So, and it was interesting to look over the list and see who I knew and who I didn't know and who's been involved and who hasn't, and start to hopefully draw the people who made the commitment and start to bring them in and start to really just create the community of this. So, and I have lots of ideas swirling around in my head. So looking forward to sharing that.
All right. So thank you for that. And Jackie, how has this week been for you, and what new possibilities do you see?
Me? I think I'm unmuted. Can you hear me?
Just barely. It might be my connection also.
Okay, so so I too enjoy connecting with Christy and Cheryl, and hearing them speak at the last meeting. I told them both, it helped me. Seeing that the spreadsheet helped me. I'm a very visual learner, so I appreciated seeing everything laid out in that format. And I'm still trying to decide exactly what I'm interested in. I know two things I'm interested in. I'm interested in Tree of Life too, because that's what we met about. That was what the meeting was about. But the other two things are the stewardship agreement, and also the Nature Coin, the expanding of Nature Coin. And I'm not sure what the scaling project is, but that goes along with it. And I guess it has to do with the Nature Coin.
Yes.
Scaling of the Nature Coin. So those are the two things I'm interested in. And then as time goes on, I'll know exactly. I'll know more. And also, I'm working on providing a service on the Tree of Life, along with using services. I'm going to use Christie's one-on-one Pilates or yoga, and I am going to provide a service. I'm thinking of a service, and I guess I would have to have my wallet set up. I still don't have that, but I would need that too to provide Nature Coin or to receive it on Tree of Life.
Well, your wallet is set up because you sent me the key for it, so I know that it is set up.
But I have the wrong key, right?
No, you can use that key, but there's one that is the public key, which is the better one to use. It's literally a matter of just copying and pasting from it. So we can do that.
When I get someone that helps, I haven't found anyone to actually help me with it. But I'm, like you said, I'm closer than I was to it. So
okay,
this is good. So,
I missed that last thing you said.
So I said I'm close to having the public key set up. I'm closer than I was. At least I have the private key. So it's just a matter of
yes.
That. I need someone to help me have it. I haven't found anyone yet. Can you hear me? It looks like you're struggling to hear me. Can you hear me? So I have my Bible. Can you?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. I don't know what I don't know how I can help, but it looks like you're struggling to hear me.
Yes. I can hear you now.
Okay. All right. That's pretty much it. I am going to come up with a service for the Tree of Life. I'm working on that.
Okay. So what from that, from the meeting with Cheryl and Christy, sort of what direction do you see, or was that something that like inspired you to create something specific? Or I'm just curious what your what you've got in your mind as of right now?
Well, I'm not really sure. I have a couple of ideas, so I want to be sure before I say exactly, but it did help me along. The meeting, getting with them, did give me some ideas. It made me start thinking in that direction. So by
Okay.
next week, I will be able to come up with something, hopefully.
All right. I appreciate that commitment. So the one thing that I have been working on is some of the tech upgrades and automations. So I've been looking at all of the needs for that, and really getting a clear picture of what we have and the different elements of it, how they fit together, and then where we want to go with the tech. So it's really, this week I've had a couple of conversations with people that have helped clarify some of that, and simultaneously have helped clarify and raised even more questions. So you know how that goes. So, but I'm feeling that I had not put myself as one of the team leads on something as of yet, and I'm seeing that is a huge, probably one of the biggest needs is the tech piece, and so I am happy to take that as a team lead on that. So is there something on that spreadsheet that either of you feel comfortable saying, yes, I'll be the team lead on it?
Well, no, I would prefer to know more about it to get the information needed, because I was thinking about the stewardship agreement, but I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure what that involves. I was thinking that it was the agreement between a property owner and Earthwaking Village, as to how the property is to be used. Because you explained a little bit of that last week, like what the lawyer was working on, and that he was familiar with sustainable communities or some what he was already familiar with what he was doing. So but now I don't know. I really don't know what's involved with that. I don't know if that means going out finding people who want to acquire villages, or is it all encompassing? I don't know what it means to lead that. Until I hear an explanation as to what it is, then I would know what it means to lead it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, that's something also I put myself as the team lead on that. I'm working with our attorney and some of the people here in the village to do a first draft of those things. So we will have a more clear picture, but it is exactly how you described it. So you got it very well. I'm curious, this is just, I'm gonna, maybe push your button here a little bit, Jackie. Because I've heard you say several times, I need more information. And one of the opportunities here with this specifically is to say I'll just sort of go with what interests you, or go with what feels like an alignment with you and what you'd love to express in the world, and allow the information to find you by expressing yourself in the world. So rather than waiting for information, I'm going to encourage you to, see if there's something when you sort of dial in and, feel into what direction feels like your biggest possibility for contribution, then saying yes to that. Because that way it feels like a full engagement and participation. And there's no wrong answer to that. It's like, okay, well, I decided to do, this thing and sort of work on this for now until, and something else may pique your interest down the road. But yeah, maybe there's a pattern there, or do you know of a pattern in yourself that is needing to get all the information ahead of time?
No, that's definitely not it. I like to make an informed decision, but I also have enough information now to know that this is in the infancy stage. So as opposed to coming to get information, I can also come and bring information. It's basically what I'm saying. Like, I can take something that's my passion and express that. So I appreciate that. That's very inspiring. But it still took me a while to get to that point. But I am there now. So I understand what you're saying. I can't, and I appreciate that. That's very inspiring to know that, it's like I used to tell my students that they're limited by their imagination, and that's kind of what you're saying to me.
Yeah, I would love to just, see your imagination running wild here. And, because that is the creative space of this mastermind and of, what we're creating. So all of us sort of showing up in full on imagination mode ends up being an enhancement for everybody certainly for more inspiration for everyone else here, but for beyond everyone who's here, physically for these specific meetings.
So I do appreciate that, and I want to do that, and just the three of us getting together to talk about the tree of life, that helped me. And I was sharing with them that that's one of my talents, to be creative, but it's hard for me to be creative with a blank slate, like it's just blank. But once it starts to come together, or I see some pieces of it, then it's easier for me. But just because I could have a completely opposite idea of what it is. So that's why I just wait to see, like, where is this going? So I can jump in. And then we're getting together with the Tree of Life ideas was helpful. And I'm sure as we go on, I'll be getting together with different groups, listening to what that is about, or what, other people see. Some people are a little further along than I am with it, or not further along necessarily with what we're doing right now, but further along as far as knowing how much this is in its infancy. Like there hasn't really been that much established already. I'm learning that.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, since you're part of this mastermind, you're among the elite few who are helping create this new Earth economy. So thank you for being here and doing that. Christy, go ahead.
So what just came up for me is like, we're the parents, and we're getting to establish how we want this child, this earth, this experience to unfold. And my question to you, Jackie, and to myself, actually, this has been my question, is how do I see this? What is my vision? And when I first got into it through the Money Metamorphosis Mastermind, I had no clue what I was getting into. And then I started to formulate my ideas of what that looked like. And I'm still formulating. I think we're all still formulating the potential of what this looks like. And so my question to myself, but also to you, is like, now, even though it still looks a little blank and there might be just a few sketches on the page, what are you noticing that's inspiring you, or that's coming up in your own imagination of how you see this direction to go?
Are you speaking of the Tree of Life?
Well, anything, the stewardship. I know that's been kind of something that you shared that, or the Tree of Life, or Nature Coin, or anything. I mean, it's kind of all intertwined in the way I see it.
Yeah. So I think I understand more now, because when we got together, you said that the Tree of Life and Nature Coin are like the two main things. And I can understand how they are the main things, because the Tree of Life is the platform where things will be presented, and Nature Coin is the way that the exchange is going to take place. So as far as like coming up with my original ideas about how I see things, I haven't gotten to that point where I'm not to the point where I'm bringing my own ideas. I'm still figuring it out, but it's, like I said, it's better than it was. I'm coming along. I'm interested. I'm not losing interest or anything like that. But I can't say that there's anything that I'm just like really passionate about. I can't say that either.
Well, for me, I really have noticed you've already contributed a lot. The fact that you're here and you have an interest, and just different things that you've said have already, like, I feel, expanded the possibilities. So, but thank you. What's that?
I said I cannot recall what that was, but thank you.
No, your enthusiasm actually is what inspired me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you're holding, even though you're still formulating the idea of, okay, what is this all about? I hear an enthusiasm that helped support me in seeing possibility that I don't think would have been there.
That's good. And then, maybe we'll be good working together.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
So I hope to contribute to everything that that is involved, because like you said, it all fits together, it all comes together. So Tree of Life, most definitely I'm want to be part of that.
So one question that comes up for me in this, Jackie, is if you were the one creating this whole thing, and you were putting into it what you thought was the best possible feature or idea or way of doing any of this new earth economy business, what thing would you focus on? What thing would you say, this is an absolute must for this? Even if right now you don't necessarily know, or you just like, when you feel into that question, what comes up as like, this feels like we should definitely include XYZ, ABC.
In this program in particular, I'll have to think about that. I'm not. You're saying something that's not included that I might think of. I would certainly, if I thought that, I would certainly say. So I mean, I wasn't really prepared for that question. I don't really see anything missing. Is that what you're saying? That like what do I think is missing? If there's something missing?
Not necessarily what you see missing, but what if you were the one who came up with the idea and were the one creating this new Earth economy from scratch, what elements would you put in it? And what elements would you put most of your focus on?
I don't see just what you're doing. I don't think I would have any different ideas. I think it's going in the right direction, the way that it should. I really do.
May I contribute for a second?
Yeah, go ahead.
You know, I ask myself that same question all the time. Like, if I'm the source of this, what do I see as most valuable, or what do I, you know, what do I get most excited about too? And community for me. And I see this as we're creating a community. And of course it's all out there, but I also started seeing, okay, how can we upgrade this? And what I noticed when I went into the Tree of Life, I noticed that a lot of people weren't putting who the vendor was, who was actually creating the offering. And they also were not putting a description of themselves and what makes their offering so valuable. And so for me, that made me think about, oh, community is very important for me, and I want to start to create an established community. And I think that's why I gravitated towards the role of reaching out to people. And you did the same. You reached out to me, and then we came together, the three of us. So I don't know, that's when I ask myself that question, that's how I answer it, is community to me is most important and my passion.
So when you say community, what do you mean? Do you mean our community or?
Yeah, I see that, like, I look down, you know, the items that we have here. And for me, like, okay, Tree of Life is one platform in creating community. And then we're going to create this community reach, like reaching out to different communities that are already established and have them be a part of this. And, you know, info sharing, how to share with people more about what this is all about as we start to establish it. The stewardship agreement is very powerful because we're reaching out to people who want to be a part of this and be stewards of the land that will support the nature coin, and vendors also that are already established. I mean, so I see it just as a big, huge community, and
a global community.
Yeah, a global community. And so that is most near and dear to my heart as what I see as valuable is establishing community. And so you might, you know, so for me, that's my source, that, okay, my vision, my source is how do I create community and where do I start with this? And so that when I ask that question and then answer it, like, what if I were the one that came up with this whole process, and I were the one that was the source of creating this, what is it that's most important for me? And community just comes up for me. So I don't know, am I answering the question in a way that makes sense?
Well, it was Jay's question.
Yeah, well,
I just, when you say community, I just have a problem visualizing what you mean by community. You mean several different communities. I mean,
I mean, community, our Earthwaking community, anybody who wants to play on the Tree of Life, as we continue to grow, reaching out to other established, like there's a lot of communities in Costa Rica that are already established. They already have their own currency. And, we want to reach out to them so that we can play together. And that's what's important to me. Where somebody else might see that establishing stewardship is most valuable, and they want to go from there and make.
Oh, if you're trying to help me come to some kind of conclusion, for me, I would have to know more about each individual thing, such as stewardship, tree of life, nature
Right.
coin. What does it mean to use nature coin in the U.S.? Like, I would have to know that. Like, I don't know what that means. And I know that it's in its infancy, and I know there's other ideas, other people who are bringing things to the table. So once I see that or hear that, then maybe I will feel passionate about something and be able to answer that question. Right now, I can't.
Well, you know what? You've already answered something. I'm not sure when the conversation was, but you said what's really important to you is food.
Well, yeah, I told Jay that. I said that on the first night. When he said, "What had you? What made you say yes?"
And there you go. Yeah.
He knows that. That was the first thing that I told him. That's why I was interested in Nature Coin, the sustainable community, the whole thing. To me, that whole idea is just so me, not any one particular thing, other than healthy eating, clean water, sustainable a sustainable community in general is just all me, especially because and these are things that you probably didn't hear because it was your first meeting unless you listened to the recording, but that definitely interests me because I feel like those things are being threatened or already threatened. So that's definitely, I mean, not that I want to farm or a garden, because I would have that, but that's not necessarily what I'm interested in. But
Are you,
I do.
Jackie, I was just going to ask you, are you connected to anybody that is a food producer? Like, do you go to the farmer's market, or what's available where you are?
Well, right now I try to just buy organic. I'm retired, so I try to keep life simple. I'm not putting a whole lot of effort into going, to a farmer's market or growing. But I do try on a daily basis to eat organic food, drink clean water, and eat healthy, basically. Self-care, really. That's my life.
So what if there was literally no further information than you already have for the mastermind and for Tree of Life and for Nature Coin? What if you are privy to 100% of the information that's there, and that's all there is? And so then, so from that place, like I hear your passion and desire around food, and I like hearing when Christy was talking about community as being like her anchor point with this, and her utilizing that as her main connection. Like, okay, well, where is community in this piece of it? Where's community in this piece of it? How can we grow the community in this piece of it? Is there something for you, if there was no other information about any of it, and this is all there is, what we've got right here, right in this moment, what do you see as a place that really resonates with your heart, that makes your heart say, like, just that makes you come alive from the inside out? when you think about it, when you feel about it, when you talk about it? What is
one thing?
that?
One thing is to have those things like the healthy food available through Tree of Life.
Mhm.
To have those type of vendors that could provide that. But
All right.
it sounds to me like that is already in the making. I didn't feel like that was such an original idea. Some things that seem obvious aren't, but to me, it was kind of like obvious that that's where it was going. So I guess I have to learn how to state the obvious, because those are the kind of things I'm expecting to see on the marketplace. Those very things.
That's so awesome. That is actually super awesome, because like that's, yeah, Christy sees it too. It's like Christy sees exactly what I see. Like that's a perfect place to use that as your anchor point. Like I can see you when you talk about it, you get very inspired, and it wants people to participate when you talk about it.
See how I feel. I don't see myself, but I do feel that like that is my passion. And I already see that. I think I see that on Tree of Life already as one of the offerings. I don't know if it's actually available yet. So I see that being on the Tree of Life. A lot of things can be. It doesn't just have to be vegetables. It can be most anything. It can be connected to most any company that wants to provide clean food. And there are a lot of companies available, so we could support them.
Absolutely. So that, yeah, like I feel like this is really opening up this, passion point for you. And I can totally see when anybody says, hey, I really would love to bring my food offerings into this new earth economy, that we say, oh my gosh, you need to talk to Jackie, and like send them your way. And just have, if you imagine that you are the gatekeeper of the food section of, and we can even rename it, food and nutrition or whatever we want, right? We can change those categories if we need to on Tree of Life. That's totally open. We're flexible on that. But if you were the person that was the connection point for anything that is food related in Tree of Life Central, does that feel like something that just like, lights you up the way it seems like it lights you up?
Yeah, not just people who want to sell on Tree of Life, but also people who sell things that I feel should be on Tree of Life.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they would have to be talked into using MatriCoin as well, so that would be part of it. But it would be nice to do that, if they would work with MatriCoin, to ask different companies to be part of it.
Well, that's actually perfect. And one thing that we've done here is we're actually beginning the process literally today. All, got all of our wallets set up here in the village, and we're sending NatureCoin back and forth to each other. So like we all know how to do that now. And I would love to make sure, I know Christy has some already, but I want to make sure that you have some NatureCoin, Jackie, and I'll send it to you so that you know exactly how to receive it, exactly how to send it, and then you're familiar with it. So as you talk to people, you can be like, hey, do you want to join us in this? Here's what we're doing. Here's what we're creating. And I can only.
We will have I would have to sell Nature Coin to them as well. More, more so than the marketplace. It would the Nature Coin would be
they go hand in hand because it's the only currency on there.
well, yeah, they go hand in hand, but I think that it's not going to be difficult to have someone sell on a marketplace. But I think where the challenge would be the Nature Coin.
Mm-hmm.
I have the Nature Coin, but if it's a company that sells non-GMO food or organic food, and I guess it won't be as big of a problem as it might be for just a company that just wants to make money,
Mm-hmm.
not necessarily care about clean living, clean eating. So, yeah, and I see that as a possibility, a big possibility. Yeah.
Christy, what's coming up? I see you're
Well,
ready to
I
say
mean, I see this as your baby, Mama.
Okay.
Yeah, Jay called it, you're the gatekeeper, or the whatever you said, and yeah, I just see this as you're so inspired by this that I see this, and just remember, it's just like we talk about, clunky is the new perfect, and we're figuring this all out. And I think as we keep talking, you're getting how valuable your role is going to be in this, because you have such a passion for sustainability, clean water, clean eating, clean living. And that's why we're here in the mastermind. Because we get to work through all this and support one another in each other's passions. That's going to bring all this together. So, yeah, I think you're starting to connect some dots. And
Yeah, but I also feel like the communities that you speak of, the other villages like Earthwaking Village, like the one in Costa Rica, they will be able to provide a lot of organic food or clean food, like especially the vegetables, because I feel like the village itself, like the actual physical village, I visualize that as having farmland. I could be wrong, but I wonder, like, when someone does build a village, like, why are they building it? Like, what are they going to do there? They're not going to have ALL there. Like, what is it going to be? So I feel like that's where a lot of growing of vegetables and food will take place. But I don't see it as I don't understand what else they would do, like, as a village, like live together and do what?
one possibility that I see is finding ways to connect, and this could literally be anywhere on the planet, finding connection points with the organic growers. And specific, like if you start with family farmers, they're going to be probably the most receptive, rather than people who have big commercial contracts. But people who are producing high quality food, and you could very easily work through networks of people and bring all manner of food producers into this economy by literally reaching out through, I know there's there are lots of different organizations that have food growers and farmers markets and all of the access to this stuff. So I could see that would be a way to very easily grow the overall participation, is you taking the helm of that and just like starting the process. And it's probably literally just stepping into the process is just not, like as Christy said, clunky is the new perfect. We're all creating this, and just like taking a step in that direction that is an inspiration, a step from inspiration toward this, bigger vision that you have of, quality food in people's mouths. So like, yeah, if I start with one conversation and expand to 3 and expand to 10 and expand to 30 or whatever, yes.
So what are the actual villages that are being built? What are they going to do? They're going to, you think, make the connections in their community for the village? I'm not sure what the separate villages do.
Say that, ask that question.
The actual villages, what part do they really play? I mean, I said they're not going to have ALL, but maybe they will. I don't know. Are they going to be a duplicate of Costa Rica? Is there a plan for that, for the additional villages?
At this moment, we see the growth of locations happening pretty quickly and yes, we see some of that happening now, coming over the next few months, but we don't know exactly where those are going to be. Right now, Costa Rica is the primary, focus that we're focused on. But that being said, with the ideas circulating, if for example, we have someone who is focused on the United States and bringing all of these organic producers into this new earth economy, that and it ties into the things that you said you're passionate about, which is the food and the understanding more of the stewardship agreements, those kind of things. So that would be a way to grow this. And like literally none of us have an answer to that question because we're creating this from the ground up here. So it's more like what has you come alive when you speak it into existence, because when you do that, other people will follow suit. They'll be like, I don't know what she's on, but I want that.
Okay, well, I thought a lot of the food would come, vegetables and things would come from the villages, because I don't really see what different villages around the world are going to really do, unless they do the exact same thing that you do in Costa Rica, like the Costa Rica being the example, and they do the same thing. Like the people go there and do what John and Kirk do. I don't know if that's probably, I'm thinking it's going to be the same. It's going to be the model, and that's what the villages are going to look like. I know
well, it is right now. We're working that out right now as we speak.
What'd you say?
We're working that out as we speak, really understanding the whole model.
Okay, all right.
Go ahead.
So one thing that I focus on sometimes is I let myself, if it were up to me to create a village, whether I name it Earthwaking Village or Christie's Village or whatever, or I want to create a Earthwaking Village where I get the support of the Earthwaking community, I let myself imagine what that would look like for me. What does heaven on earth, sustainable living, an Earthwaking village look like for me if I were responsible for creating one? And as a matter of fact, I've got land where I'm thinking about that, because I'm like, I have this land, how do I want it to look, for me? What's my heaven on earth if I am the steward of this land? And so that's where I go. And then I'm like, well, then how does all, huh?
Did you say you have land for a village?
Well, I have land. Well,
Okay.
see, it's a blank slate, it's a blank slate, it's a clean page. And I'm looking at the possibilities of what that will look like. And And then I look at, okay, we've got this nature coin. I'm potentially a steward of land. I'm not yet. It's
Mhm.
something that I will eventually inherit. And how does, how can Tree of Life support that? And what do I see of value that can help me create this? And so I think about that. What would my little village look like locally? And then what will that look like in the global Earthwaking villages? So, and it's, it's brand new, it's all new, it's still, and then it's up to me to create. And so that's where I go.
So I was thinking that that's where the things from, or the food anyway, for Tree of Life would come from, the villages, because I don't really get what the villages are about. Now, if they are about that sustainability, because that's what this whole thing is about, then yeah, then that, I mean, to me, that would be great if that's what if that's what the villages really stood for, supporting Tree of Life. That would make perfectly good sense to me, as opposed to some outside vendor talking them into nature point. The person that is the steward of the village has already committed to that. So they're the ones to supply to the Tree of Life. I mean, the primary suppliers, in my opinion. Because if not, what are they doing? What are they? Are they just providing a place for people to come and stay? Like, or so
Do
that's how I
you
see
see
it.
yourself as a part of Tree of Life?
Answering Jay's question. If I could, if I could come up with the way it should look, and but I also was thinking that that was already part of it. The village was part of supplying the Tree of Life.
Well, it's tied together in that in the village, the intention is at some point to use only nature coin for everything. So as we grow the economy, that will be sort of the standard way of doing things inside of an Earthwaking village location.
Okay, but also the villages, including the ones in Costa Rica, should support the Tree of Life. If not,
Absolutely, yeah, they're tied together.
okay.
Yeah.
So I mean, so that way it wouldn't be necessary. I mean, well, if other vendors could also provide things on the Tree of Life, but the villages should be the main suppliers. That should be part of the stewardship agreement, that they support Tree of Life, that's what they're there for. Because if not,
Yes.
why build a village? Why have a village?
Mhm.
You know, unless you're going to do ALL every week, or when as often as it should be done. That's to me where it should come. That should be where it should come from primarily, because then you're supporting your own self. We're supporting ourselves.
I want to make sure we all have a specific task that we're taking on for the next week, as we've got just a few minutes left of our call. It's like these conversations have been very eye-opening and heart-opening, and yeah, I love hearing your passion come out, Jackie. Like I could just see, like when I could see that there's lots of things that I can see there's a lot that is not even said, beyond, like there's a whole world beyond what you say and, put out there that is, is just like loaded with potential for where this can all go. So
So I have to ask questions because I know that there's already certain things that have been established. I know that because I hear people say they're about to build a village or they're thinking about building a village. So my question is, why? Why are you building it? Because I already have my own ideas about what it's for, but until I hear somebody say that that's what it's for, I don't know. So that's why I still have a lot of questions. Just
Well,
have
yeah,
a-
the villages are, we see each location sort of as a terrarium as we, build it out and develop it, that it is fully regenerative and self-sustaining to the greatest degree possible. So we're taking steps actively to transform our first location into a location that can actually do all of that, producing food, a lot more food. There's a little bit here, but not much. And then other things too, energy, water, these other elements. So, and then for the other second location too, it's more of a blank slate, but all of that is on tap for the second location too. So as far as tasks for the week ahead, what do you see an inspiration point, Jackie, that you can commit to for the next week that
I'll
sort
come
of
back with the
heads in the
service
direction
that-
of these food?
I'm going to come back with the service that I plan to provide. And I don't know if it's going to be getting food on the marketplace. I don't know if that's going to be that's not really my passion. So I will come back. I'll have a service by next week. I have to fill into that for myself. It's not what I want to eat and drink may depend on what I want my like work to be. So because I like to eat like that and I want a sustainable community, it doesn't mean that I want to seek out vendors. So that might be better for someone else. But by next week I'll know.
Okay. That's awesome. So Christy.
So I have the list of people who have purchased or who have Nature Coin, and so I'm going to start contacting people and communicating with them of what we're up to and if they would care to join us. I've already reached out to Paul. I have yet heard back from him, but I think he would be such a valuable resource to be a part of this group. And so, that's what I want, is to reach out to people and start to.
I heard Paul speaking at a connection call on Sunday, and he was very passionate about what he wants to do. He's meeting with people. I don't know if you guys are aware, but he wants to build houses for the village.
Mm-hmm.
He's told you about that. So he's very passionate. He showed us the book. He found the book, and he has ideas about the material and an inexpensive way to build things. So yeah, he would be an asset to this group to at least come and talk about that part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm continuing to reach out to people. There's some people that I know that I think would have some valuable contributions and offerings to the Tree of Life that I want to reach out and see if they would be willing to open to creating an offering. I have an idea of something for the Tree of Life also. A community classes. Like, I see exercise as being a category, exercise and movement as a possible category, removing that from, we have some dance offering and some qigong offerings and, potential art or cooking. Cheryl wasn't here, but potential cooking classes, and somehow creating like a monthly community service where people who are offering classes throughout the week can place their services in there, and then somehow we can create it and set it up with Zoom and people can attend classes. So that's what I see.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you for that. My commitment is to have by next week a really direction for the tech upgrades that we have that we know the direction that we're going, because we know that the upgrades need to happen and we don't know exactly what that is. So it's a little more getting some clarity on that and being able to have a clear direction on where we're upgrading the tech.
So what is needed with the tech? Because I can ask my son a question, because he's good with that, with the computer science. So is there a question? What is it that's needed? It's
sort of connecting from sort of rudimentary things, connecting our donation system into the whole nature coin system. That's one element of it, sort of at the most basic. So none of that is automated at this point, and I would like for that to be a key element that is in there. So that's one of the pieces. So, but we're also out of time.
Are you saying as soon as some money is donated, that automatically gets transferred to a person's wallet? Because I know that part he doesn't. He's not familiar with that.
Mm-hmm.
Or I could get him to help me with my wallet.
Be the case.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you all for being here and playing with us. And whoever's watching this recording, thank you also for what your commitments are. What I'm going to ask you people to do is use the spreadsheet, and we'll put our commitments and dates on there so we can continue to follow that, and everybody is on the same page then of what we're doing for the next week. So
okay.
Where is that? Where do we put that, Jay?
Just on the spreadsheet, I will create another tab. There it is.
Does it automatically update?
Oh, okay.
Okay.
And Jackie, feel free to reach out to me at any time if you have questions, and if I can support you or answer questions, I will
Oh, okay. Thank you.
do my best.
Okay. All right. I will. I won't hesitate.
Thank
All
you.
right. Well, thank you all. I see Cheryl just got here, so I'm gonna end it and reach out to her and let her know to watch the recording.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Did you add a category?
I just
I'm not
added
seeing it, so maybe.
a separate sheet on the bottom tab.
Oh, okay. All right, got it. Okay. Oh, okay, got it. Okay. Good. All right. Thanks.
Thank you all. See you soon.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.